Steelers Nation. I'm not exaggerating when I say this. Everything just changed. What has already been one of the most chaotic and emotional 24-hour stretches in recent Pittsburgh Steelers history just took another unexpected turn. Fans were still trying to process the Mike McCarthy hiring. Emotions were running hot, timelines were melting down, and then, boom, a new report dropped. And not just any report, one that could completely reshape the Steelers' quarterback future, the coaching structure, and honestly, the direction of the franchise moving forward. So make sure you stick around until the very end of this video, because we also have a massive update involving Arthur Smith that no one saw coming. And it changes the entire offseason picture for Pittsburgh. But first, real quick, thank you to everyone who continues to support the channel. You guys are absolute beasts. Every like, comment, and sub genuinely means the world to me. Now let's get into this because Steelers fans, this one's wild. Reaction to the Mike McCarthy hire. Let's address the elephant in the room. Yes, Mike McCarthy is officially the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And let's be honest, this was not the hire most of us wanted. It wasn't flashy, it wasn't exciting, it didn't scream new era. For a lot of fans, it felt like the safest, most conservative option imaginable. A retread hire. A coach with a Super Bowl ring, sure. But also someone many believe peaked years ago. And personally, I'm not sold yet either. It's not growing on me, not even close. But, and this is important, after the reports that dropped today, I can at least start to understand why Pittsburgh made this move. Not agree with it necessarily, but understand it. Because what just came out changes everything. The report that shocked Steelers Nation. According to NFL insider Tom Pelissero, following the McCarthy hiring, one detail has quietly emerged that could redefine Pittsburgh's quarterback strategy moving forward. Mike McCarthy is reportedly very intrigued by the upside of quarterback Will Howard. And that might sound minor, but trust me, it's not. With all the chaos surrounding the coaching search, missing out on candidates like Chris Shula and Nate Schellhaus, and non-stop rumors about Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, and veteran quarterbacks, the Steelers' QB situation almost slipped under the radar. But now, it's officially wide open. And for the first time in a long time, Pittsburgh might actually be considering a true developmental quarterback approach, not just another short-term bridge. Why McCarthy likes Will Howard. Let's talk about why this matters. Mike McCarthy has spent his career coaching quarterbacks who thrive in structure. Yes, Aaron Rodgers improvised and played backyard football, but he was also elite in rhythm-based, pocket-driven systems. McCarthy's offenses are built around timing, reads, footwork, and decision-making. And that fits Will Howard's profile. Howard isn't some flashy off-platform magician. He's a pocket passer. He operates within structure. He processes quickly. And when you look at his college production, especially during his breakout season, it jumps off the page. At Ohio State, Howard threw for over 4,000 yards, completed more than 73% of his passes, and showed real command of the offense. At Kansas State before that, he flashed toughness, leadership, and steady improvement year over year. Now let's be clear, Howard was a sixth-round pick, and statistically, sixth-round quarterbacks almost never become long-term starters in the NFL, but almost never doesn't mean never. Tom Brady, Tony Romo, Kurt Warner, Brock Purdy. History says it's rare, but not impossible. And McCarthy believing Howard has upside is not something to brush off lightly. What this means for the Steelers' QB room. This one report completely changes the chessboard. Because now, Pittsburgh's quarterback options look like this. Mason Rudolph, still under contract. Will Howard, developmental prospect with upside. 21st overall pick in a weak QB class. Veteran trade targets like Justin Fields or Kyler Murray. Possible bridge options like Aaron Rodgers. But here's the key difference. For the first time in years, the Steelers might actually be willing to develop instead of delay. Instead of signing another veteran to limp through 9 wins and a wild card loss, there's now a real chance they explore what they already have. And honestly, I wouldn't hate that. I'm not saying start Will Howard week 1. I'm not even saying he should be QB1 right now. But I am saying, at some point this season, I want to see what he's got. Because if he's nothing, at least you know. And if he's something, then everything changes. Why this makes McCarthy's hiring make more sense. Let's connect the dots. Multiple reports now suggest the Steelers didn't hire McCarthy to chase Aaron Rodgers. That might end up being a byproduct. But it wasn't the plan. The real pitch? Quarterback development, offensive structure, stability. McCarthy reportedly sold Omar Khan and Art Rooney on his ability to develop passers, modernize the offense, and bring consistency to a system that has felt outdated for years. And honestly, that checks out. Mike Tomlin isn't an offensive developer. Arthur Smith struggled mightily. Matt Canada was, well, Matt Canada. For nearly a decade, the Steelers' offense has been clunky, predictable, and painfully conservative. This hire, love it or hate it, is at least an attempt to fix that. Not through hype, not through splash, but through system. Details on McCarthy's contract. Another important note. Mike McCarthy reportedly signed a 5-year contract. That's not a bridge hire. That's not a 1-year experiment. That's a long-term commitment. And while we don't yet know if there are opt-outs or escape clauses, the length alone signals that Pittsburgh isn't planning to panic after one rough season. They're betting on stability, continuity, and development, something this franchise hasn't truly prioritized offensively in years. Arthur Smith. Update, and this is huge. Now let's get to the update that completely changes the coaching landscape. Arthur Smith is gone. He has officially accepted the offensive coordinator position at Ohio State, and his contract with the Steelers is now void. That means no offensive coordinator, no defensive coordinator, no inherited staff obligations, a completely clean coaching slate. This is the first time in a long time that Pittsburgh has a true reset button. McCarthy can build the offense from scratch. Omar Khan can reshape the staff. The front office isn't boxed into legacy contracts. This isn't just a coaching change. This is a philosophical reboot. What comes next for the Steelers staff? So, what happens now? There's a strong chance Mike McCarthy runs the offense himself, at least initially. He's done it before, and honestly, with how bad the Steelers' offense has been, that might be for the best. Defensively, they still need a coordinator. Names like Chris Shula and Nate Schellhaas make sense, though neither was interviewed for head coach, which still feels borderline negligent by the organization. But there's time. And now there's flexibility. No more patch jobs, no more half measures. This is a full reset. Why fans are starting to soften, just a little look. I still believe the Steelers botched the coaching search. They should have interviewed more candidates. They should have explored younger offensive minds. They should have modernized more aggressively. That criticism stands. But the more we learn about the McCarthy hire, the more logical it becomes, even if it isn't exciting. Quarterback development, structured offenses, play calling experience, leadership stability, and when you pair that with a defense already loaded with elite talent and one of the highest payrolls in the league, suddenly the formula makes sense. Fix the offense. Let the defense win games. Stop chasing mediocrity through short-term veterans. The real question, will Howard everything now circles back to one name. Will Howard. If Mike McCarthy truly believes in his upside, that alone reshapes the Steelers' offseason priorities. Instead of forcing a quarterback pick in a weak draft class, instead of selling assets for aging veterans, instead of chasing the illusion of contention, they can develop, they can evaluate, they can finally commit to a direction. And honestly, that's something this franchise hasn't done at quarterback since Ben Roethlisberger retired. Final thoughts. Where I stand. Am I sold on Mike McCarthy? No. Am I suddenly optimistic? Not exactly. But am I intrigued? Absolutely. For the first time in years, Pittsburgh is talking about development instead of damage control, about upside instead of safe floors, about long-term structure instead of short-term survival. If McCarthy can uncover a quarterback gem, modernize the offense, and get actual production out of this roster, then this hire, as frustrating as it felt, might end up making sense. Now the ball is in Omar Khan's court. Steelers Nation, let me know your thoughts. Do you want to see Will Howard get a real shot? Would you rather draft a quarterback? Or are you hoping for a veteran bridge? Drop your takes in the comments. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe for daily Steelers content, and I'll catch you in the next one.